Welcome back to another travel talk. So, tonight I am going to talk about what's going on with cruising. So, I know a lot of you guys are hesitant to cruise, questioning cruising, and I totally understand. So, I want to kind of take it from a top level and kind of move down from there. So there's a lot of talk about like cruises being cesspools or covered in germs and all of this stuff. But if we look at the actual data of people getting sick on cruise ships, I mean, obviously we hear and have heard even before coronavirus, the instances of like a norovirus kind of ravaging a cruise ship. The actual numbers, though, of people getting sick compared to who's traveling is very, very low. You've got to remember that in a normal cruise year pre-COVID, we probably had about 250 million people traveling around the world on cruise ships. So those incidences of like an outbreak are actually very low compared to the total number of travelers. So that's kind of the first thing. I know that that's like the thing that everybody likes to say is like, oh my gosh, these cruise ships. The other thing that we need to be aware of is that even before COVID, there was a health and safety questionnaire when you got onto a cruise ship. And you're not supposed to cruise if you're sick. So we know a lot of people would lie and get on the cruise anyways, even though they weren't feeling well. They may have had a fever, they may have had, a cough, a cold, something going on. And instead of giving up their trip, they go on the ship knowing that they're sick and they infect other people. So the hope is moving forward, now that we're much more aware of how contagious things can be, even like a cold or a norovirus, it's going to run through a group of people if you aren't being conscientious. So I think that we're going to be in a hopefully much more compassionate, much more empathetic place of travel when it is time to open back up. The hope is that people who are not feeling well will not try to get onto a cruise ship. But whether it's a cruise ship or any other type of vacation, again, if you are not feeling well, you should not travel. You're putting yourself at risk. You're putting other travelers at risk. And that's the importance of travel insurance. A lot of people do not take the travel insurance. And when they're not feeling well, they're too afraid to lose the money from their vacation if they cancel. And I understand that fear, but that's another thing that the travel insurance helps to protect you against is, being sick and kind of pushing through and traveling, even if you're not feeling well. So that's kind of that part of it. And so cruising moving forward, I think we're going to see a lot of changes. I think the CDC is very involved in what's going to happen when cruising is able to restart. Now, we do have some areas that cruising has restarted. We do have cruises in Asia, like the South Pacific. Some of our Europe cruises are going. Obviously, cruises out of the US, it's still a TBD as to when that's going to restart. But I think the important thing to remember is that cruising is one of the most highly regulated forms of travel because they've got so many governing bodies. Obviously in the US we have the CDC, they have the World Health Organization, they have all of the maritime laws, they have the laws from the individual ports at which they're going into. So the amount of regulation in cruising is extremely high. So they do need to make sure that they are playing by the rules. So some things that we're going to see go away, I'm sure, and this is going to be in any vacation setting, is the buffet. I don't think we're going to see a self-service buffet anywhere anymore. I think that while there's still maybe buffets or food stations on cruises, those are going to be manned, and you're going to have a crew member there helping to serve you to make sure that we're staying low on those touch points. I think you're going to see a lot more hand sanitizing. That's the one thing I love about the Disney cruises, is that anytime you walked into a restaurant, there was a cast member standing outside. This was pre-COVID, with sanitizing wipes, and you had to sanitize your hands before you were able to go into that dining establishment. So I think we're going to see a lot more of that. I think we're going to see, obviously, just a really high level of safety when it comes to cleaning. I don't think we're going to see full capacity cruise ships for a while. So what does that mean for us? I think that we may see some limited short cruises happen this year out of the US. And when I say short cruises, I'm saying like your 3 to 4 day, 3 to 4 night cruises out of the Caribbean, maybe hitting like the Bahamas. I don't think we're going to see any long extended cruises. The rule right now is no more than 7 days. But I think a lot of the cruise lines are going to shift to some of those shorter cruises so that they can pack more in a week. Because they're also going to have lower capacities. I can't imagine we're going to be at full capacity this year on any cruise lines. So I do think that we will start to see some ocean cruising open up this year, probably, I would say late summer, fall at the earliest. I think we're going to see our Mississippi River cruises, our Columbia River cruises. Those are going to open up for the summer because they've got a little bit of a different dynamic when it comes to regulations. So I think we're going to see those open up a little bit sooner. And then obviously our long haul, our bigger cruises in 2022. I think that across the board for 2021, we're still going to be wearing masks. So you need to understand what that's going to look like on the cruise ship. Every cruise ship is going to have sort of their own protocols in terms of what masks are going to be acceptable, but just assume that no neck gaiters, no face shields. It's going to be a mask on your face, 2 layers of fabric, surgical mask, that kind of thing is going to be acceptable. Other than eating and drinking, probably in a stationary position, so you can't just wander around the ship with your mask off drinking a beer or a cocktail. At the pool deck, probably when you're swimming, obviously no mask then, but even sunbathing, you still might need to have the mask on. So think about that. I know I have some hardcore cruisers that just love to cruise. They love the experience of it, and the mask isn't going to really bother them, isn't going to change their feeling about the vacation. And I have other people who thinks that would be terrible. So again, we've got to kind of, manage our own expectations for what that's going to look like. Vaccine rollout is going to be another big factor. I do think that there's going to be some cruise lines, we know, like Crystal Cruise and Oceania, I believe is the other one off the top of my head, have already said, like, you have to be vaccinated to cruise with us. They are much smaller ships, a more boutique cruise line. So they felt that their clientele were not going to have an issue with that. And so they've made that statement. Now, I don't think every cruise line is going to do that. I certainly don't think our mass market cruises like Royal Caribbean are going to require that. But I do think there's going to be potentially some easing of maybe some of the protocols if you're vaccinated. I don't know. Again, we are just speculating because we don't know what any of this really looks like. So again, when it comes to the vaccine, you may or may not have to test out in and out at destinations. Again, ports of call are going to have their own rules. So some ports may require the testing. You may be able to opt out of it if you have proof of vaccination. Other ports might not let you come in if you're not vaccinated. We just don't know. Places like New Zealand may require a vaccine for you to get off the cruise ship in their port. Again, we are kind of just seeing this play out. And the biggest thing right now is that I don't know. We do not know what that's going to look like. But what I can say is that it's going to be closer to normal in 2022 and 2023. So why am I saying that? Because I think it's really important that you keep those vacation options on the horizon, because right now, and I know I've said this a million times, but right now is the time to book, because you're going to get the best price now. Think about this logically. We don't know what it's going to look like. A lot of people are holding off on booking. Capacities are probably going to be limited. So if you're thinking 2022, 2023, again, we're going to be a little bit closer to normal. By 2023, we should be in a really great spot, right? So everybody's going to want to book those vacations, and you're not going to see any deals because the demand and the supply, you're going to have a higher demand than you are supply. So they are not going to need to discount it, and those prices are going to go up, which is usually the opposite of what we see happen, right? We typically see the highest prices when things are first released. And then as we get closer to the departure dates, they start to try to liquidate some of that, those unsold cabins. So you're going to see like deals and promotions as you get closer to a sale date. The opposite is happening right now. The deals are now. The best prices are now, because two factors. One, when everything fully opens up and everybody's able to do whatever they want to do, there's going to be a huge demand. So that's the one factor. Two is that you've got to understand that these businesses, these cruise lines have not made any money for a year. So they're looking to secure and guarantee that future income, right? That does several things for them. If you are business savvy, you know that having future income on the books, having people deposited on cruises in 2022 and 2023, it enables them, if they need to seek funding or loans or cash from a source like a bank or things like that, because they have a guaranteed income stream coming in. So they want to book as much as possible now. So cruising in a nutshell. What's going on with cruising? The answer is, we don't know. Are we going to cruise again? 100%. We will probably see very, very, very limited cruising in 2021. We'll see that ramp up in 2022. And then 2023, I'm predicting we're going to kind of be back to normal. So that being said, this is the time again to deposit on those vacations that you are hoping to do, whether it's the Panama Canal, whether it's a world cruise. I've had a lot of people actually tell me that they're going to be retiring and they want to do a world cruise. It's an amazing thing to do. You literally go around the world. We have those South Pacific cruises that are going to hit Fiji and Tahiti, and then even into Thailand and Singapore. We have New Zealand. We have South America. Those Antarctic expeditions, which are huge right now. Huge. Definitely reach out if you're looking at one of those. Our Mediterranean season, our Northern Europe. So there's a lot happening in cruising right now. So while things are a little bit on hold, that doesn't mean you should sit on that vacation. So my advice to you is, if you've got that on your list and you definitely know that maybe not this year, but next year, or the year after, that's something you want to do, let's get a deposit on that now, because you're not going to see a better deal than you will right now. I promise I'm not usually a hard sell, but I do want you guys to get the best value for your vacation dollars. And so deposit now. And most of them are having really flexible deposit situations, refundable deposits, movable dates. You can change people in your staterooms. So they want you to book with confidence, and they want you to book now. So they wouldn't be giving you those deals if they didn't truly want your business right now. So those are sort of the updates on cruising. I'm going to do a little series where I kind of talk about each industry. If you guys have any questions, as always, you can drop them in the comments below, or you can find us at travelbrilliant.net. And of course, follow all of our social media channels, because we are consistently updating any news that we hear about any of this stuff. So any CDC guidelines, any news about relaunch dates for any of our cruise ships, any of our new cruise ships. So we've got some new cruise lines like Atlas Voyages. We've got Virgin Voyages. We've got new cruise ships coming for Disney. We've got new cruise ships coming for Royal. So all of that stuff we're going to drop on social media before you see it anywhere else. So again, like and comment below, subscribe, hit those buttons, and then visit our social media. Facebook is going to be the fastest way to get information from us. All right. Thanks so much. I'll see you guys real soon.